Okay, if we can get ready to start the meeting. Thank you, everybody. Prior to the open session, council met for a closed meeting, and it was moved by Councillor Marshall and seconded by Councillor McCann that pursuant to Section 239(2) and 3 of the Municipal Act SO 2001 C25 as amended, Council of the Corporation of the Town of Parry Sound moves to a meeting closed to the public in order to address a matter or matters pertaining to B, a personnel matter about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, Parry Sound DBA governance, DBA correspondence, and human resources, and C, a proposed or pending acquisition of land for municipal or local board purposes, the waterfront, and that was carried. Okay. Okay. Are there any prioritization or additions to the agenda? No? Okay. Need a mover and seconder? Councillor Horn, Councillor Marshall, that the council agenda for July 18th, 2017 be approved as circulated. All in favor? That's carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest of the general nature thereof? Seeing none. Mover and second for the minutes. Councillor McCann. Councillor Marshall, that the minutes from the council meeting July 4th, 2017 be approved as circulated. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Questions of staff? Oh, quiet night. Okay, no questions. Correspondence, Ms. Boggs.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So we have a light list this evening. The first piece of correspondence is from David Penfold, appointed Barrow resident. He's a request to have the words Parry Sound or Welcome to Parry Sound put on the North End Water Tower located in McDougall. That was circulated to Mayor and Council and forwarded to the Director of Public Works for follow-up. The next one is from Jane Jones, Chair of Artists Around the Sound. A thank you note to Council for the 2017 grant through the Municipal Assistance Program. Circulated to Mayor and Council and staff and forwarded to the clerk for filing. We have two of the AMO watch files, one for June 29th and one for July 6th, which is Municipal Industry News. Circulated to Mayor and Council and forwarded to myself for placement on the e-agenda. And the last item is from Elliot Sherman, Project and Construction Manager, SIN MH Limited, and it's a thank you letter for Council's support of his company's intention to carry out research, design, and construction of the micro-home prototypes. And that was circulated to Mayor and Council and staff and forwarded to myself for filing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we come to the deputations portion of the meeting, and I'd like to remind the deputations here tonight that they have a maximum of 10 minutes each, including questions of clarification from council. Deputations are subject to the same rules of conduct as members of council, and that no one shall speak disrespectfully or use offensive words or insulting expressions against any member of council, staff, or another member of the public. And please speak clearly into the microphone and be at least 4 to 6 inches away from it, otherwise it doesn't get picked up. So all meetings now are web streamed, so it's not quite as sensitive as it was when Kojiko was doing it. But anyway, it's all good. Our first deputation tonight is Andrea Gordon and Andrew Parker from OPSU, and it's We Own It. So welcome. Thank you. Okay. Oh, microphone's not on. Sorry.
There we go. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just wanted to start off first thanking you all for allowing us the opportunity to come and speak with you today regarding several issues that are affecting everyone in Ontario. This campaign is called We Own It. First off, my name's Andrew Parker. I'm a correctional officer at Central North Correctional Centre in Penetanguishene. I work with the under the Ontario Public Service, and right now I'm seconded to this campaign.
And my name is Andrea Gordon. I work for the Simcoe County District School Board in IT, and I as well am seconded to work on this campaign.
So, We Own It is a grassroots movement. It was adopted out in the United Kingdom regarding privatization issues that were going on there. Smokey Thomas, the president of OPSU, heard about the campaign. Obviously, we care about keeping our public services public with what's going on. He went out there, spoke with their union president out there, asked if we could trademark the campaign. It's now turned into a universal movement. There's also a We Own It campaign in Australia as well. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick overview of, in the background here we have a website, weownit.ca. If any councillors, Mr. Mayor, anyone in the audience, if you would like to go on the website in your own time and sign up, it definitely is of interest, and it affects everyone, and we can keep you up to speed with what's going on. So We Own It is a grassroots movement of Ontarians who care about keeping public services public. With the help of allies like community groups, unions, student unions, equity-seeking groups, families, and individuals who care about building a future for all in Ontario. We want to share the facts about problems with privatization and the benefits of public services. In short, the evidence shows that public services help keep communities healthy, safe, and prosperous. Privatized public services, on the other hand, deliver lower quality service at a higher price. The only people who benefit are the wealthy. Throughout public engagement, online and off, mobilizer and volunteer support, and a dedicated website that shares news and case studies of communities that have rejected privatization. We Own It aims to keep building the province-wide support of public services. Now, Ontario within OPSU is split into 7 regions. We have 4 dedicated mobilizers, organizers, who are booked off on the campaign, covering, so this is Region 3. We come all the way up to here. This is as north as we go. We go all the way to Peterborough and Lindsay, down to Newmarket, Barry, Richmond Hill. We cover a very large area. We're out putting pressure on MPPs through all levels of government, all political parties. This is nonpartisan. And we're reminding them of the decisions that they're making and that they intend to keep their seats in an upcoming election. Change needs to be made and people need to be heard. We also have 5 mobilizers booked off. They're Indigenous mobilizers, and they're going into those communities as well. A different approach on the campaign for certain Indigenous issues. We also have 3 equity mobilizers dedicated in the GTA area, going into certain communities throughout the Toronto area. What we're here for today is to seek an endorsement from this town. We think it's very important. What I would like to do in your folders, we handed out some pamphlets, I think 2 weeks ago. We dropped off some information, but in there you'll have some case studies. You'll have a booklet. It's all relevant. Part of which makes this campaign personal is that, you know, if we can get some support through town, all different towns and small communities throughout Ontario, if you support us, we can come to rallies with you. We can plan information pickets. We can get some social media advertising, and we can bring all issues forward. So I have a motion here, and we can work on amending it, but we're really hoping for the support of endorsement. So I'm just going to review it. Whereas public services are, by their very definition, open to all members of the public and therefore benefit all members of the public. And whereas the management and oversight of privatized services are, by their very definition, private and therefore benefit primary investors. And whereas there is ample evidence that privatized public services provide lower quality services to fewer members of the public. And whereas there is also ample evidence that privatized public services cost more because they need to generate profit for wealthy investors. And whereas proposals to privatize public services have a consistent track record of breaking promises to maintain or even improve quality while reducing costs. And whereas a growing number of communities around the world are reaping significant benefit by insourcing services that have previously been privatized or outsourced. Be it resolved that the town of Parry Sound recognizes that the public delivery of public services ensures more transparency and accountability to the public, democratic oversight, and control of public service delivery by our community elected representatives, and avoids the diversion of public funds into profits for private corporations. Be it further resolved that we call a moratorium on privatizing or outsourcing any of its public services without first undertaking a rigorous, credible, and fully public and transparent review of the privatization or outsourcing proposal. Be it further resolved, the town of Parry Sound publicly disclose all of its public services that are currently privatized and outsourced. And the final one, be it further resolved, that we undertake to review all of those privatized and outsourced services with a review to insourcing them in order to lower costs and improve services.
So I just wanted to take a minute and talk about some of the successes that we've had in the campaign. So to date, we have approximately 40,000 supporters across Ontario. In addition to that, there are other town councils that have endorsed this motion. Thunder Bay comes to mind, Fort Erie, but the list is extensive and it's growing. So what we've come here today to ask you to do is not unheard of or unprecedented. It has happened. It is happening. We've also had success with having other MPPs sign on and endorse the campaign. As Andrew said, yes, this campaign is funded by OPSU and unions, but this isn't owned by OPSU. This is a movement, a grassroots movement that affects everybody in this province. And, you know, the talk about privatization, we know a lot of Ontarians are unhappy about what's happened with the sell-off with Hydro One. Wasaga Beach just successfully fought off the sell-off of their private hydro energy distribution network. The council did vote that down. So this seems to be something that isn't favorable for the public, and people are getting engaged and taking notice. The most recent thing that comes to light in the news has been the LCBO with bringing alcohol into the grocery stores and how that's affecting revenue in the province of Ontario, because we know that when you shop at the Walmart or Sobeys for your alcohol, that revenue is being lost by the province. Yes, taxes are paid on the alcohol, but it's lost revenue for the province. I also know in 2006, privatization was a hot topic in this community when it came to long-term health with the new hospital opening, and it wasn't favorable at that time either. So as Andrew said, we can modify this, but ultimately the message and the underlying message would be the same, which is that, you know, to keep public assets public and to keep our services public.
You've got about a minute left.
Perfect timing. We were just going to say, if you guys have any questions, we will try our best to answer them.
Does council have any questions? Not seeing anything. Thank you. We weren't expecting a resolution like this tonight, so we're going to, I think, have council look at it before any decisions made.
Okay.
Okay. It won't be at this meeting.
Perfect. Now, a form of communication in replying to us, will this be at the next meeting? Okay,
Ms. Boggs can answer that for you.
okay.
So this, I think this would be brought forward to the next meeting for council to discuss. If you could forward the resolution to me.
Okay.
Sorry about that. If you could forward the resolution to me, I would put it on the next council meeting.
Which is
Which
August
would be
or
August
September?
the 8th.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Just invite anybody here tonight who has any questions before they make a decision on what to do with this resolution. There's a card on the inside of that folder with Andrew's phone number. So if you would like to, please feel free to reach out and ask more questions. Also, if there's something with this motion or resolution that you feel that you can't accept, we would be willing to work with you and come up with something revised, but we're really looking for something, even if it's not in its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next deputation is from Ingrid Mueller, Chair, and Neil Parry, Manager of the Parry Sound Area Airport. Welcome.
Thank you. Worshipful Mayor, members of council, staff, and members of the public. I'm Ingrid Mueller, Chair of the Parry Sound Area Municipal Airport, and here tonight to give you a little update and airport report. You've all received a copy of this, and we'll go through it. A little history first. There's a shot of 1979 when the airport was first started. It opened with a 3,000-foot runway. In 1981, the airfield lighting was installed. 1982, Lawrence Aero started operations, and they are still there today. 1983, the terminal building was constructed. 1985, 1,000 feet were added to the runway. In 1990, 3 private hangars were constructed. In 95, the National Airports Policy was implemented. The federal government offered ownership of airports to local entities. Before handing over the airport, the federal government resurfaced the existing runway with transitional money. ACAP was introduced, but only funds airports with scheduled passenger service. In 1999, Found Aircraft commenced operations, and 3-phase hydro was installed. 2001, BP Flight Training opened, which is now near North Flight Academy. 2006 through 2015 saw phases 1 through 6, expansion of airport infrastructure such as wells, septic, taxiways, roads, site prep for building lots, airport fire suppression system, our business center, along with some buildings built to house businesses which brought jobs to our area, coupled with the private sector investors who built their hangars on our land. In 2015, CanPass was reinstated. The following slides show what we look like today. We have 14 businesses employing 78 people and 33 private hangars. 2017, we are now in phase 7, which includes upgrading our fuel farm. Milford Bay Trout Farm is establishing there, and security fencing. Over the past 10 years, we've developed a positive relationship with FedNor and NOHFC, resulting in their contribution of over $5 million towards our capital expansion phases. And as you can see in the chart, the airport has contributed $687,000 towards that, so a little over 12%. Why are we here today? Our 38-year-old runway has reached the end of its life. Having not been resurfaced in 22 years, it is rapidly deteriorating and becoming unsafe. Certain aircraft avoid landing here due to the condition. In 2008, an airfield pavement condition survey was funded by 4 ministries, and Parry Sound was included in the Northern Ontario survey. At that time, our runway was rated in poor condition with significant distress and requiring rehabilitation. What have we done so far? We've investigated funding opportunities. FedNor and NOHFC runways are not eligible. NOMTS, latest information indicates that the study survey portion will be completed by the end of this year. ACAP is currently not accessible. Again, only airports with scheduled flights can draw from this. The federal gas tax fund and the small communities fund, local airports are eligible under both of those programs. As you're aware, the Commission has written letters to the Minister of Infrastructure and Communities and the Minister of Transport requesting that the definition of local and regional airports be reviewed as it pertains to funding opportunities. Currently, our airport is ineligible to apply. We met with Jim Beattie, NOHFC board member, to discuss options and ideas. It was noted that this was an upgrade to handle current and future needs, not just maintenance to the existing. Also, this is a regional issue, not just Seguin or Parry Sound. We've applied to the Rural Economic Development Program to help offset the costs of the following studies: an economic, capital asset, strategic plan, and a business development plan. We should be hearing from this program at the end of July. We've hired CC Tatham engineers to review all the foreseeable options. 8 options were investigated, and at the regular meeting held July 10th, the Commission passed a resolution to accept option 8 and pursue the next steps. Option 8 is to realign the existing runway, widen it to 100 feet, and extend it by 1,000 feet. There's a view of the runway looking south, showing the problem in extending it an additional 1,000 feet on the current 4,000 feet. As you can see in the bottom of the picture, we run into the wetlands. The benefits of option 8: increased safety, accommodating today's and tomorrow's users, environmentally responsible. Any extension on the current heading would result in upsetting the pond to the north. Realignment would be environmentally responsible, as well as move our approach path away from the residential area located on Lake Joseph Road. The cost saving, staying away from the pond, results in considerable cost saving and mitigates unknowns like fill quantities going into the pond and lengthy environmental studies associated with the pond. The downtime, a high percentage of construction can be complete while using the existing runway. Future development, all fill would be strategically generated on site, resulting in buildable, leasable land. The economic impact, capturing traffic that currently cannot use existing facility, which directly impacts the local economic activity. And the essential services. We will be better equipped to handle the essential services. The runway, coupled with our new fuel farm and generator, will allow search and rescue to better utilize this facility in times of needs. Our airport is important to all of us, and the essential services you can see listed all use our airport. Our ambulance has been in there twice in the last 2 days. And I'm not a pilot, but our family had to rely on the essential services once. Our daughter, now turning 40, was in a car accident at age 13. She was comatose and airlifted to sick kids from the airport. Hopefully nobody ever has to. Many people will say, I've never used it, but hopefully you never have to. So on to option 8, $9,120,000. Funding opportunities may be on the horizon. Since this is a nationwide issue with like airports experiencing deteriorating infrastructure, some studies have been completed and are ongoing. The report from the Auditor General, released this spring, clearly identifies the problem faced by all similar airports across the country due to the shortfall of the ACAP program and Transport Canada. Northern Ontario Multimodal Transportation Strategy, although ongoing, has also identified this deficiency. And just released late last week, the National Trade and Transportation Corridor Initiative, TTCI. At a glance, it appears we are eligible and further investigation is required. We need to be shovel-ready. In summary, we are looking for the support of council in principle, moving forward, investigating funding opportunities as we proceed with runway option 8 for our vital community asset, our airport.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Are there any questions, Council? Councillor Sonia?
Yes, out of the group, I'm somewhat qualified to speak for the airport. What this will do is this sends a message on several different fronts. It sends a message that the Parry Sound area is evolving, it's growing up. This is going to bring a new class of vehicle to that airport, which is not only for fuel sales and visitations. This is, if you can imagine, when we're out there, when I'm out there flying and I can hear on the radio people in corporate jets circling around trying to get into our airport as it is, the chatter that's going on, they'll freely admit that they're out of their normal categories here and they're not having that much fun trying to land at the airport. This will alleviate that. By going to 5,000 feet, we're going to bring in a whole different level of transportation. And that could open up new avenues for new businesses in the area, but it's also going to allow for corporate folks to visit and aircrafts that can't quite squeak into our airport as it is. I like the fact that you're making it wider. I understand fully that there's nothing you can do about the crosswind, but the saying in the industry is come to Parry Sound and practice your crosswinds. And I really look forward to, do you have a timeline for this? When are we going to see this?
Tomorrow would be nice. No, we can't wait 5 years. I would say the next year or two, we want to, we're right on top of this, wanting to get going.
And I guess my last thought is, have you given thought to developing the south end of the runway first so that you could tie in, still use the old runway north-southbound until you finish the end of the runway going that direction? Meaning redevelop the south end of the runway where the two runways intersect so that you can still use the old runway and keep working on the new
Yes,
ones.
that is the plan.
That's the plan?
Yeah, so 45 days downtime is what they listed so that they could use the existing while they build the new.
Beautiful.
Whether they start down here or start at the top end. Yeah, it's pretty quick turnaround time, I'd have to say.
Well, from the aviation community, this is a fantastic opportunity. Hopefully this happens.
Okay. So, any more questions on? Oh, Brad? Councillor Horn?
Just a comment. I certainly like your statement. It's not a Parry Sound Seguin issue. This is a West Parry Sound issue. And I think kudos for doing this, for all the representatives that sit on your board. Thank you to them for all the effort they put in over the last number of years. Fantastic. And certainly would like to see this happen because we're being bypassed. People are going to Muskoka. So let's have them land here. Thanks.
Councillor Warnman?
Reiterate what Councillor Horn said. It's been my pleasure to serve with these folks for the past number of years. The Airport Commission is a working board. These folks get paid a very small honorarium. They show up, some of them on a near daily basis down there. Their honorarium doesn't pay their gas to get back and forth. Just to flesh out a little bit that Ingrid said, to give council confidence in what's happening there, the 6 phases that have been completed to date have been delivered on time and on budget. The airport, as you can tell by the numbers, is a really significant economic driver in the area. One person who's pretty frugal with their money says that we're the best economic development commission in West Parry Sound. So I want to thank these folks for their time and for coming out tonight en masse to present this to us.
Yes, thank you. Well, yeah, I'm going to. So we have asked Mr. Menz to prepare a resolution or a direction, but it's resolution for tonight. so that we can get the ball rolling for you you don't have to wait for our sort of approval. So with council's indulgence, are they willing to proceed with this now to be read? Okay. All right. Yep. Sure. Yep.
Are you going to be doing this or similar presentations to other municipalities in the West Parry Sound area?
Well, as you know, currently, Parry Sound and Seguin are the only two, and we will be going, we've discussed, it has been discussed to go to them and to present it.
Microphone.
We attended the Seguin council meeting last night and were favorably received. I think our intention with the others would be to nail the plan down a little further before we made that approach.
Okay. So I have a resolution here. It's moved by Councillor McCann and seconded by Councillor Borneman that Council of the Town of Parry Sound support in principle the Parry Sound Area Airport Commission moving forward investigating funding opportunities for runway option 8. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimously carried, and that way you don't have to wait for us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Nate. So next is reports, and I think Councillor McCann was first last time, so Councillor Saunier.
Good evening, everyone. Those in attendance, those watching on television. I have a very brief councillor's report. I was, the business stimulus team actually went on the road. We've talked at great length about the Business Innovation Center and business incubators and whatnot. And we did sit in one building in town discussing the options for that space and what we could do with it. We have since gone on the road to seek out active working models to see how they've figured out how to make it work and how to make it sustainable. So I'll be bringing a full report once we have all of that tabulated. I'd like to speak, quite frankly, about the amazing work that our town staff has done. We had a couple holes in the road near where Gibson Street and Bay Street is, and not one but two. And the crews were there until it was fixed right. They did one heck of a job. They were there all night long. And when I went to talk to them, because it's on my walk to work, all they could say to a person was, "Thank goodness this isn't the dead of winter." And so these people, they're the ones that are out there working on your water mains and your sewer mains in the dead of winter or the dead of night in the summer. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Mark and the rest of the gang. You did another heck of a job. Thank you.
Councillor Horn.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are enjoying our summer yesterday and today, and hopefully it continues on. All my committees are on summer hiatus, so I just hope everyone enjoys the rest of the summer, and please be safe out there if you're driving on the water or flying. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Keith.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, staff, and the public. I did not attend any meetings within the last 2 weeks. One night conflicted, so I could not attend the Parry Sound Industrial Park Board meeting. But what I do want to comment on briefly is I was really glad to see the cruise ship in yesterday again with 199 passengers on it. So I think that was really great. And the other thing I wanted to say that I appreciate us having in our community is what I believe is called the Harmony Park. And I want to thank Ms. McNamara. I had the opportunity to try out, shall I say, the musical skills there. And I found that it's a really interesting experience. And I noticed that some other people who came along when I was experimenting, shall we say, were really pleased that those that had children and liked the idea, they made really positive comments about it, saw it as something really unique. So I think it's in a good location, and I hope things go well in reference to that activity park. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Marshall.
Good evening, everybody. I, like Councillor Horn and Councillor Keith, have not had any committee meetings for the last 2 weeks. I, along with, on Saturday, was down at the waterfront. I did have a chance to check out the Harmony Park as well, and amazing piece of equipment, or piece of equipment down there, and kudos to Ms. McNamara for getting that set up for the summertime. And other than that, everybody have a safe summer. I hope that the summer extends beyond today, and hopefully this will be a precursor of things to come. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Borneman.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, everyone. On the 10th, as you've heard, the Airport Commission met. In addition to our runway discussions, we learned that weather is impacting both fuel sales and usage of the cafe in a negative way. We continue to work with the Milford Bay Trout Farm with respect to our Phase 7 development. On the 12th, the DBA met. The craft fair is scheduled for July 29th. That'll be the last opportunity to buy or to bid on painted paddles. I think Council will be happy to hear that we also learned that night that the few parking meters that were left and donations are being made from mid-April until earlier in July. $545 were raised, and this has been forwarded to Treetops Community Forest. So that's proven to be not a deal breaker or maker, but a nice little fundraiser for different charitable groups in the community. Councillor McCann and I have recently received notice, a letter from the CAO at Belvedere Heights, that Karen Inslee Stewart has been appointed by the Ministry of Long-Term Care as the province's representative on the board. July 13th, the Parry Sound Industrial Park Board met, and for the most part, it's business as usual. We do have some people kicking tires with some really interesting proposals that aren't ready to be made public at this point. We also learned that Vianet and Bell appear to have struck a deal. CRTC and the feds always consider communities where the fiber trunk line runs by as being serviced, even if there's no opportunity to tap into those trunk lines. And it appears now that Vianet and Bell have reached some sort of an agreement, although it's not yet fully cost, about Vianet tapping into the Bell trunk line at the industrial park, which would be a real godsend, I think, for the park and for the area, as high-speed connection has been lacking, and it's proven to be a detriment to a number of businesses existing in the park, and several who walked away because of the lack of that piece of infrastructure. In addition to Harmony Park, I attended Art in the Park over the weekend. Of course, it rained. It seems to be the norm for a little bit of that event, but it was well attended, and the goods that are available there are first class. So I congratulate the organizers for their efforts in moving that forward. And that is my report, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor McCann.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and people watching at home, and those here in the gallery. As Councillor Borneman just mentioned, Thursday the 13th, we were at the monthly Industrial Park Board meeting, and yeah, there are some exciting things happening there, and so we look forward to that. Also, later, well, immediately following that meeting, I headed to the Park to Park Trail Association meeting at the Foley Community Center. A number of positive notes to pass along. Staff and volunteers at Park to Park continue to receive favorable remarks and comments from ATVers regarding street access in the town of Parry Sound. So we're definitely on the radar as far as that benefit is concerned. Trail Pass sales continue to grow. This is the 4th consecutive year that sales have been up. The Try the Trail event this past Mother's Day welcomed 100 users, while last year's event only brought in 40. So as you can see, growth and popularity of our trail system is certainly on the rise. The 2017 ATV Rally for Prostate Cancer was also successful with just under 100 entries. Monies raised goes to the trail system as well as to prostate cancer research. Participants provided positive feedback on the rally and on the trails. And to continue further, events like these raise a lot of awareness for our trail system. CF Moto has proposed working with Park to Park through a corporate sponsorship program, which will generate mutual benefit, including equipment for Park to Park. And this should be coming to fruition in the near future. Park to Park, in search of a new office location. We were in the office along with Parry Sound Snowmobile District at the old CN station, but as you know, we've sold that building, and so we're looking for new headquarters. And finally, on Friday, July 14th, I had an opportunity to attend a soft opening of the Sound Community Hub. Of course, formerly the William Beatty School. Members of the Parry Sound Nonprofit Housing Corporation escorted a group of individuals around the building. All but 2 apartment units are occupied. The group was able to view a bachelor apartment and a 2-bedroom apartment, each still to be occupied. Units are very bright. They're modern. I know as a bachelor I would have loved living in one of those units myself. An official grand opening is coming later in August, as I understand. The community hub will be home which is proposed will be home to several user groups, and there's also a business office hub in which multiple organizations can share resources in addition to private offices. There's a lot of exciting things happening there, and what a great way to reinvent an old building. And as everyone else has said, have a safe summer, drive carefully, pay attention, and that is my report. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor McCann. Council, staff, and public. July 11th was the groundbreaking ceremony for Habitat for Humanity, which is a duplex that's being built on Addy Street. This build is part of the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter 150 project, making Canada's 150th anniversary, marking Canada's 150th anniversary. Truly an honor to have this project in our community. It was a good crowd on hand and a lot of workers, and the project is moving along nicely. July 12th was the District Land Ambulance meeting, which was held at our fire station. We had a presentation from a couple of our paramedics with regard to a new CPR support device, which was kind of cool. July 13th was the Parry Sound District Social Services Board meeting, which was held here in Parry Sound. July 15th was the opening of Art in the Park. As usual, it was raining. I was able to scope a few things out, and then came back Saturday to make my purchases, which was Saturday was a beautiful day. And talking to a number of vendors, they were having great sales. They seemed to be very happy on what was going on, so that was great. I'd also like to thank the Art in the Park Committee and all the volunteers who make this happen. And also to April McNamara and her staff who provide support for the event too. So there's a lot of before stuff that has to happen and after the event that things that have to be done. So it was good. July 18th was the official opening for Vital Air, which is in the Parry Sound Mall. And they've gone from 2 employees to 3 employees, which is an extra job in the community. So that's all good. And Councillor McCann mentioned the soft opening for the hub. The official opening will be August 4th at 1 o'clock. And there should be some provincial representatives there too. So this is being showcased by the province's community hubs committee or department that they have. So Parry Sound will be on the map and recognized for this particular project. July 21st marks the opening of the Festival of the Sound. The economic impact of the Festival of the Sound on the area is about $4.1 million over the 3-week period that it runs, and certainly something to think about when we're looking at economic drivers in our community for tourism. So, yeah, so try to get out and see a show. That's my report. Thanks. Okay. Moved by Councillor Saunier, second by Councillor Horn. Whereas the Township of Seguin wishes to expand access to natural gas within the township, and whereas one of the strategic priorities for Council for the Town of Parry Sound is West Parry Sound area cooperation, therefore be it resolved that Council for the Town of Parry Sound supports the Township of Seguin's resolution attached to Schedule A for an application to be submitted by a natural gas distributor or supplier to the Government of Ontario for a grant from the Provincial Natural Gas Grant Program to expand the natural gas system to service the Township of Seguin, and further that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Township of Seguin to be included with the application to Ontario's Natural Gas Grant Program. Any discussion? Councillor Borneman.
Thank you, Your Worship. I ask that this be added to our agenda tonight. There is natural gas in Seguin, partway down Old 69 to Crofts now. This proposal would see it extended further south on Old 69 across 141 into the village, and hopefully, and why I ask for this to be added to the airport. Recently we had a business through the CINO program walk away from the industrial park in Parry Sound after a number of months because of the high price of hydro in Ontario. The only real alternative for industrial use is natural gas, and to get these lines extended, the same as we're asking for IT services to be expanded, we need to be pressing senior levels of government and private business to extend natural gas to allow for greater commercial activity in the area.
Okay. Anything further? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Item 911, moved by Councillor Marshall, second by Councillor McCann. The Council approves the transfers to and from reserves as summarized in Schedule A. The Council approves the transfers to and from reserve funds as summarized in Schedule B. That 2015 and 2016 capital projects which were funded from reserves may be completed in 2017 as previously budgeted, as these projects were previously approved and do not impact the 2017 levy requirements. Discussion. Councillor Borneman.
I hate to do this to Mr. Pinn, but I think that that deserves the 140 character public broadcast system to go into effect here.
Through your worship, what I might do to keep it to 140 words or characters.
You're using them up.
I'm already over. Basically, what I'll do is we have about $17.6 million in reserves and reserve funds at the end of the year. 35% of that, $6.2 million, relates to the water and wastewater services. That is funded from the water and wastewater user rates. 22% of that, or about $3.8 million, is specifically held for capital replacement. That is part of the asset management plan. That is part of council's plan to build up the reserves so that we have funds available to take advantage of the province when they decide to give us some extra money. 14% or 2.4% is EMS, so that is not to be used or cannot be used for anything other than EMS. And about 6% or $1 million is held for third parties. That is predominantly related to provincial legislation such as development charges, lot levy, as well as gas tax funds.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Horn?
Just a quick question. Is there a legislative requirement that states what amount of reserves municipalities based on tax levies should have, or, are we doing well in terms of our reserves?
Through your worship, there's no requirement, there's no guideline. Every time that I go to the Northeastern Ontario Treasurers Forum, we are highlighted as being one of those municipalities that has a significant reserve base. However, I want to make sure that it's clear that included in that reserve base is the water and wastewater, as well as the EMS, which is not really the towns. So we do have a reserve to debt above 1.1, or 1 to 1, sorry. So we have $1 in reserves for every dollar of debt, which is kind of a soft standard.
Thank you. Anything further? All in favor? It's carried. May I have a mover and seconder for the direction, please? Councillor McCann, Councillor Borneman. The Director of Finance and POA Court Services sent a letter to the Province of Ontario outlining that Council supports the MFOA letter dated July 4th, 2017, regarding the proposed regulation EBR 013-0551, and that the proposed requirement for engineering certification should be amended. Discussion. Yes.
Maybe Mr. Pinn could kind of explain that, because I think it's kind of vague to the public.
Sure. I was also
Please.
going to ask that we send it to more than just this. So,
through your worship, part of the reason why it was only to the province is because the deadline for responses is the 24th, and by the time we get it out, it won't give other parties enough time to respond to it. As far as the letter. To go to Councillor Keith's question about what this is, the province released a regulation about a month and a half ago for asset management, which would require the town to take certain steps, which are outlined in the agenda. One of the steps, in part with the amending the engineering requirement, is the province is proposing that all asset management plans be certified by a licensed engineer. My concern with that is that part of the asset management plan includes machines, like basic machines, fleet, things that an engineer has not, with all due respect, really isn't adding much to, as well as the financing portion of it. Included in here as part of the background, what I'm suggesting is that the province should, instead of requiring the engineer to sign off on the whole plan, dictate what condition assessments they want us to do, have that be certified, which makes sense, and have that included as part of the asset management plan, rather than requiring all municipalities to have an engineer sign off on the entire asset management plan.
yeah. This is just going to drive the cost of everything up significantly. So, my suggestion is that we send this to AMO and OSM and Roma so that they all have copies of it. Because I know AMO is accumulating this information so that they can deal with the government on it too. So, yeah. We're good with that? Okay. Councillor Borneman, you look like you had something you wanted to say.
I just wondered if Mr. Pinn had any idea about what costs would be added to the taxpayer through this, and if the province had suggested that maybe they were going to fund those costs.
Yeah, Mr. Pinn, sorry.
Through your worship, there are certain funding available. The gas tax allows for a certain portion. Federation of Canadian Municipalities has a new program out that provides $50,000 on an ask basis. It will not, the funding available will not fund 100% of what would be required from staff. There are municipalities that are hiring full-time asset managers to do asset management as a 100% FTE position. Now, that means there are municipalities, our size or not, comes up to another question. But there's significant assets, and the assets that we own provide the services that we provide to residents. So they're a significant part of what we do. The requirements from the province, I want to be careful how I say this. The province does not necessarily look at what it dictates and how it impacts small municipalities north of Steeles. I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough. Okay, anything further on this one? No? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Marshall, second by Councillor McCann. The council accept the tender from Chimco Refrigeration for the supply and install of one Reef Plus DDE-2500 ice rink desiccant dehumidifier, okay, for a total of $31,523.61, including HST. Discussion? Councillor Borneman?
Ms. McNamara, are you confident that this is going to eliminate the condensation that happens down there during warmer periods of time, winter?
If I may, through you, Your Worship, Councillor Borneman, I'm confident. We've seen this unit in action in a smaller or similar size facility to ours. They had a similar issue and it fixed their drip and humidity issue. So I think we've got a good one here.
Okay, good. Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Okay, item 932, moved by Councillor Horn, second by Councillor Saunier, that council approve the one-time events grant allocation as follows per Schedule A for the Sweet Honey Festival to be held September 23rd, 2017, in the amount of $4,080. Discussion? All in favor? And that's carried. Yep, Councillor Borneman.
Just before we proceed, I'm wondering if Mr. Menz or somebody at the table could maybe inform the public. I don't think that the Sweet Honey Festival is something that's rolling off of everybody's the tip of their tongue. I don't think there's a whole lot of information out there about it. I do know that in the latter part of September, it's kind of on that shoulder season that we want to build on. But could you tell the public what's happening here, Mr. Menz?
I actually, through you, Mr. Mayor, don't think I'm the best person to, with the detail to explain that. Ms. McNamara, perhaps?
If I may, through your worship, what we're looking at here with the Sweet Honey Festival is a group of not-for-profit organizations have come together for the purpose of a large event in the town of Parry Sound. You're looking at honey tasting, apiary tours, and information on those honeybees. And this will all be held at Canadore College on September 23rd. They're just pulling their program together now, and once they hear about this funding allocation, I'm sure you'll see lots of positive marketing.
Good. Good. Anything further? Oh, no, that was done. That's right. We got a new one. Moved by Councillor McCann, second by Councillor Marshall. That consent application number B17/2017 PS Halverson, Addy Street be supported subject to the following conditions. Payment for cash in lieu of parkland dedication in the amount of $5,354 and 2, an easement be dedicated over the private water sewer lines in favor of the retained lands. Discussion. Councillor McCann.
Just, I guess, an opportunity to give Mr. LG a chance to speak to this. He's been sitting here patiently this evening.
Through your worship, there's a lot going on in this application. Currently, it's 2 separately conveyable properties, only one fronting along the road. After this project or this application is done, assuming it's approved, you'd have 3 lots along the roadway, 2 lot additions, and 2 right-of-ways. So at the end of the day, it's 2 new lots when it's all said and done. The 2 lots that are further to the river, both of them will now have road access, which is an improvement because they'll own the property under their driveway, which is desirable. And the easements will take care of the driveway, which does meander off the one person's property a little bit, as well as their easement, or as well as their services, which are between proposed lots 2 and 3.
Thank you.
All right, 2 new lots. That's a good thing. Anything further? All in favor? And that's carried. Mover and seconder for the direction, please. Councillor Horn and Councillor Sonia. That approval in principle be given to the Love Your Block program, and that the CAO be directed to prepare and submit a comprehensive Love Your Block program outlined for council's consideration at the August 8th council meeting. Discussion. Councillor McCann.
This would be then for Ms. Middock. Could you explain to us what this is all about? Or maybe Mr. Menz would be better able to.
Can you explain Loving Your Block?
I don't know if I could want to answer the question that way, but what the program potentially is what it is about is improving community pride in neighborhoods in Parry Sound, pride in Parry Sound overall. So it's a potential partnership primarily between the town and Lakeland Holdings, where we each put in $5,000 next year, and there would be lots of community awareness. GBBR would be a partner as well in terms of project support, coordination, advice, horticultural naturalization advice. So people could get together in their community, their neighborhood, put a proposal together to do an improvement on their block. It could be shrubbery, plantings, signage, cleaning up a pathway, just cleaning up space. That's it in a sort of in a nutshell. Get a number of people together, say let's improve our neighborhood, and to come up with a sustainability plan as well, how they would keep it going in the future. So $2,000 per application, maximum of 5 projects for next year.
I think it's a great idea. You know, I really do. I think something should have happened a long time ago, but if we're starting and doing it now, I think it's great. Maybe get some people out and cleaning up the neighborhoods, which would be really good. It could be some very cool stuff come out of this too, eh? Like themes, you know, for certain areas, which would be kind of neat. Anything further? Nope. All in favor? That's carried. Mover and seconder for the direction, please. Councillor Keith, Councillor Horn. That the principal planner be directed to bring a report and recommendation to the September 19th council meeting regarding the potential sale and redevelopment and rezoning, if necessary, of the town-owned property identified as a portion of the Parry Sound Drive road allowance to the west of parts 2-4 of 42R 19097 and to the west of part 1 of 42R 19887, being a portion of PIN 52105-0429 along Parry Sound Drive. Discussion. Councillor Borneman.
For the uneducated and those of us who speak English, where is that exactly, Mr. Mayor?
It's the chunk of property that was left over from the old highway that's in front of Canadore College and the Gardens of Parry Sound. And there's a big chunk of property, well, a good-sized chunk of property there, and if we can take a look at what we need for our own needs, but if there's a chunk left over that could be used and sold for a business or whatever, I think it's worth taking a look at. Okay. Any further discussion on that one? Councillor Marshall.
Just looking at just for the public's information, I guess, this is almost a 2-acre parcel too, so it's a fairly significant size parcel of land, so.
Yeah. Yep. Anything further? No? All in favor? Thank you. I'd like to thank staff for looking at this too. Oh, holy smokes. Yeah. Moved by Councillor Saunier, second by Councillor Horn, that bylaw number 2017-6756, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council, be considered as read a first time. All in favor? That's carried. All members in favor of having the second and third readings? That's carried. Moved by Councillor Saunier, second by Councillor Horn, that the bylaw above mentioned be considered as read a second and third time, passed, signed, and sealed. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, so I'll need to sign that. Yeah. Prior to adjourning, I'd like to offer the following information to the public regarding the next council meeting. The next regular meeting of council for the town of Parry Sound is scheduled to take place at 52 Seguin Street in the council chambers located on the top floor. Public access to the building is off Gibson Street. The next regular council meeting of council is Tuesday, August 8th, 2017 at 7 p.m. This will be the only regular council meeting scheduled for August. All regular council meetings will be held at 7 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of each month except January and August, where only one regular meeting will be held for each of those months. Regular and special meetings are now live streamed. Please check the news and public notices on our website at www.parrysound.ca for instructions to watch live or to see earlier council meetings. Agendas, changes to the council meeting schedule, and notices of special council meetings will be posted on the town's website at www.parrysound.ca prior to a council meeting. The public is able to view an electronic copy of the complete agenda with attachments on the town's website. Just search council calendar and the date of the meeting. Should you wish to receive the combined agenda via email, you may make that request on our website or contact the clerk at the municipal office. The minutes of the council meetings will be posted within 2 days after the council meeting on the town's website and will be posted on the bulletin board located in the municipal office entrance. Cogeco will continue to air the regular Parry Sound council meetings on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. following a regular council meeting. Cogeco can be contacted at www.cogecotv.com. And thank you, everyone, and have a great night.